Good evening and welcome to the September 6th meeting of the Board of Selectmen. If everybody rise to the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Again, good evening. We do have a public hearing this evening, so I will open the public hearing. The Waterboro Board of Selectmen will hold a public hearing on Tuesday, September 6, 2022 at 6 p.m. for the purpose of discussing window closing of roads pursuant to Title 23, Part 3, Chapter 301, subsection 2953 of the Maine State laws. Roads being considered would be Bennett Hill from 132 Bennett Hill Road to Daring Ridge Road, and Chadman Ridge Road from number 478 to number 811. So I will open it up for any discussion. Clyde?
Come up there?
Yeah, step up there.
Sure. My name is Clyde Smith. I live in Waterboro on Darings Ridge Road. I'm interested in what's going to be done with these roads, and I'm assuming this is done at the direction of the Public Works, so I see the Public Works Director here, and I was hoping that he could speak to the process, why these roads, what's going to be done, what the times are going to be, and so forth. Also, yeah, I have more questions after we get into that.
So step up to the mic there. Jeez.
So we're just trying to preserve the road. Going to close it from December 1st to, is it April 30th? Is that the date?
Yep. Those are the allowed dates, yes.
Yep. Just trying to save from mud season. Obviously, we have put some money into it. We're trying to keep the whatever ditch that we have there from the all-terrain vehicles plus the bigger vehicles that driving out there, running through our ditch line and just ruining the road. We are going to open it back up in the spring. Would like to grade it right before fall and then keep it good all through winter long, and that way when spring comes and mud season's over, we open it back up and it should be somewhat decent.
And that's the intent on both roads, right?
Well, Chadbourne Ridge is, yes, I mean, that one's needs a lot of repair. But that is just basically to try to keep people from driving down there. That way we don't have to go rescue someone that gets stuck in the middle of it. So.
Questions?
Yep, go ahead.
In the past, we've barricaded the road. Are we going to be barricading it again?
Well, not really sure. We haven't really had that discussion. I didn't want to barricade it just for safety reasons. But
as you know, we have historically, traditionally closed roads for winter in the town. Did it for a number of years, up until at least the mid-60s. And you know, I don't recall that there were ever any barricades or any blockades put up so that you couldn't get down the roads. The roads were just not maintained. The notice was put out that they weren't maintained, and you know that for the most part, people were to stay off them. Obviously, on Bennett Hill and the Chadman's Ridge, they haven't been staying off them, but that's an enforcement issue, and you know that's a whole other thing.
I know we put barricades up right after David left 1 year, but we haven't done it again. So Yes.
Our initial conversations were to have 3x3 or so signs made for each end of it.
Yep.
Indicating what,
Dates,
yeah, the
when
dates,
it's closed.
and that, close to travel and, please stay off, so that hopefully we can inform the public, but.
I understand that. And I agree with the closing, okay? Closing for the fact that we don't need to maintain the roads through the winter because of the costs, and at the same time to let people know that they aren't to try to go back and forth through it. But there are other interests in the area. There'll be people going in there hunting, trapping. Some people just drive through. I drive through as long as I can on both ends, on the winter and in the spring. Bennett Hill Road, I have a good reason for going down there is because it's great access to and from the transfer station, and for me, what is the center of town? Going to Hannaford's, to the post office, whatever. I know there's a lot of people on Deering's Ridge that use that road considerably, and I did a count on the houses. We have, I think, 65 houses, either directly on or just off Deering's Ridge Road, that would, potentially use that road to go back and forth to the transfer station.
Yeah. I don't think they use it that much in the winter. In the summertime, and that's where we're trying to, just keep the people off it during the mud season, and just so we don't have to put all the extra money into it.
So the mud season, I wish there was a better process for that, because to intentionally go down and to damage the road is, it's an actionable crime. So
It's been a reoccurrence every year lately. So
at that time, I could understand barriers, specifically closing the road off and saying that it's closed for mud.
well, I think that might be the route to go in the mud season. Get the barriers out to keep the traffic out. Wintertime, I just didn't want them because they really blend in with the snow, and liability, I didn't want to have anyone run into them. I've seen people run the snow banks before and get stuck in the middle of it. So anything's possible.
So if we did, considering that, we would post it, as Matt had mentioned, we put up, reasonable signage, right?
Yeah.
And try to prevent everybody from going on either one of those roads mentioned. I guess there comes a point where if there's a complete disregard for the signage, then we have to react, right?
Yeah.
Whether it's through law enforcement or through, barricading the road, basically,
Right.
right?
If we do this year after year, then possibly we can get, a big I-beam, put it 4 feet into the ground, dump some cement around it, where they aren't going to be able to rip it out, and then close it during that mud season, but keep it open in the winter.
We had discussed a gate too at road review committee.
We
What's
did.
the research on that? What's the?
Well, we're just worried with, if we put a gate up, we know someone's going to rip it out, so, or they're going to try to rip it out. So that's,
Really?
Yeah, it will happen.
There's an I-beam gate up on Ospey that it's been mangled and it's destroyed. So I don't. It's gonna be a different.
When you get your off-roaders, they got winches on their trucks. They do what they want to do.
Realistically, that's a challenge for them. But we had the same thing up here at Ospey Lake, and those was gated so that if the police or anybody had problems down on they could close one end and would have them pinned in there.
Oh.
But there wasn't long after putting them up that they ripped them out or bent them. And,
We've had a long history with the gates. I believe we actually had gates on some of these old roads in the past, and we took it to a vote, I think it was 76, that we voted to take the gates off some of the old town roads because it was quite a debate, as I recall, and the thing was that they said that the gates had locks and padlocks and so forth, and they removed them because they didn't feel that it was appropriate for some people to have access and not everybody have access.
Well, I think I would have access with a key, and the fire department would have like a Knox type lock or something where if there was a emergency down there, they could open it up.
Well, it's my hope that eventually Bennett Hill Road is going to be a year-round road. I mean, I don't think the gates are going to be, something that's going to be there forever. I see that road as valuable to the area and an excellent resource, and eventually it's my hope that it'll be developed so that, all the people in that area can use it. And not only that, but you're looking at, Beaver Ridge, North Waterboro area, they also have that more direct access. It is what it is.
Yeah.
Anything else? Sensing that, I'll flip it over to the board. Any comments or?
Just,
I would say I agree with everything Clyde said with the future use of that road being, if we have on our agenda tonight, is it on our agenda, like the TIF, to look at that? Yeah. So, you look at development in that area, look at traffic in there, it's like a decompression. As we funnel more people into 5 and 202, that becomes problematic after a while, and then this sort of becomes a decompression for locals that, it'll obviously show up on your GPS navigation, but if you're just driving around town, locals are going to understand that I can get to Dairy Ridge or I can get to Hollis using this road versus having to sit in all this traffic. So there's that. I'm concerned with, if we close the road, I'm concerned with what I'm hearing in the past about if we close the road, people are going to find their way on it. We've got to find a way to outreach to the ATV club or whoever, in the spring and say, listen, we want you to have this road for passage in the summer. We've got to find a way to respect the road. So, and the third thing I have is there was some going back and forth as to whether or not the town owned this road or if we have to, redo deeds and all that. I'm assuming that if we're closing this road, we own it. Like, I think that puts the line right in the sand right there. We pay to grade it, we put the material on it, and now we open it and close it. Fourth, we own it. So I think that puts that to rest. Anybody in town that's questioning whether or not we own Bennett Hill Road, we wouldn't be able to regulate it like this if we didn't own it.
Okay. Dwayne?
just a comment here. The reason we're doing it is because of the new state laws. We just can't up and close it. We have to go by their regulations, and it says that we must hold a public hearing on this after May 1st and before October 1st to do this, and that we can close this road or roads up to 10 years with this one public hearing. So it hasn't got to be 10 years, but it can be up to 10 years. We can set it for 2 years, or we can set it for 5, or go to the full extent of 10. So.
On that regard, Darren's Ridge was actually closed up until, I think, 1965. They did it every 10 years up until 1965. There was never.
And they've just updated that whole set of laws that everyone got to class.
Anything else? Well, we thank everybody for their input, and we will deal with this later in the agenda. So I declare the public hearing closed. And let's move on to the next issue here. Any announcements from the board? Dwayne, anything?
No, I got nothing.
Mike?
No announcements. Would this be committee reports as well, or just, that's selectmen
Yep.
reports?
Yep. Okay. Any additions or deletions to the agenda? We do have an appointment this evening, Jason Champion, to talk about Scooter Way.
So Scooter Way washed out as we got that 6 inches of rain in a matter of 4 or 5 hours. Just looking to see what kind of way you guys want to go with this. We have 20 working days right now to get the rest of the hot top out of it, get the culvert out, and establish the banks from, eroding away all winter long. October 1st, you got to be out of the streams for brook trout spawning, which that one's a major brook trout stream. And basically, we have a few options here, whether, I have a 6-foot culvert that can go in there. I don't know if that will take the next big storm. Not really sure. We can do a waste block bridge, is what they call them. A lot of concrete guys, when they have a couple yards left over, they bring it back to their plants. And they have some box forms, and they just dump it in there, and they're blocks, and they stack up and make a retaining wall. That's an option. Or the third option is we don't have to do anything with it. There's really no one affected by it. The people on Middle Road that have access to their land behind it did mention something about building a bridge themselves to get up to their land. But other than that, there's 1, 2, 3 other houses on the other end. So the biggest thing that we would have to do is probably just build a turnaround for the plow truck. But I do have just a few pictures. This is a
What down this week?
yeah.
Is that a 4-foot culvert that's in there right now?
Yeah. So this was a bridge up in Wakefield. Obviously, price is different. This was a 2019 to 2020. Pre-COVID, it was $134,000. You can probably bet that this is going to be double, if not a little bit more. They're just waste blocks, as you can see, and then it's a precast top. Pretty simple, but with this bridge, we're probably looking at a 14-foot opening when you take the bank 1.2 times bank full width. So we're waiting for DEP to get back to us. We finally just got an email at 4:45 tonight, so I'm assuming we're all going to be on site sometime this end of this week. Going to meet with Colin Green from Army Corps and James Pellerin from IF&W. So James Pellerin he's kind of the rep around for culverts washing out with IF&W and Colin Green. They both kind of say that, this is probably going to happen if we put that 6-foot culvert back in within 10 years. Who knows if it will, but there are some special funding grants out there, Trout Unlimited and then York County Soil. So that's the way
And the DEP one.
DEP one, yeah, the smart water stream, that's around 150,000, which we probably would get this. But this pictures that you guys are looking at, it's a Derico Bridge Company, and I think they're up in the Madison area. They do everything, so the structures and installation. They maintain a lot of wildlife and habitat runs for that.
So this would do away with any culvert?
This would be yes, it would be a box culvert.
So it would span,
14,
I mean,
probably,
ultimately, we'd create a box culvert, right?
yep. A lot cheaper though than the precast, which kind of precast, but it's not. The top's precast, so. But
That certainly aligns with more of what's in the Stream Smart crossing guidelines today versus.
they love these things now. So the solar project up on McLucas, what you got, your first picture, that's what they have for that big brook that comes down the mountain. So
I see a lot of these around.
they're very popular now.
Yeah, on the
They're
back
they're a
roads.
cheaper.
Easy to maintain.
There's
Yep.
a lot of maintenance to them, but.
There are.
I mean, yes and no. I
Yearly
mean,
maintenance, yeah.
you got to make sure that, you know, you, like any big bridge crossing or big culvert, you got to make sure that the debris is not under there. You know, if there is, you got to if you got a big storm coming, you got to check it.
Yeah,
So,
and there's quite a bunch of washing underneath that has to be watched. And
yeah,
linseeded or some type of material put on the concrete to save it from salt.
save it from salt, right? Yep. I mean,
With the wrong driver on the snowplow, he's gonna take the guardrails off that.
you know, and then
That hurts.
yep, there's a few factors that we can look at. You know, we don't have to go precast. You can put a membrane down and pave on top of it. You know, I've seen that done before. So,
And that's another one
That's-
it holds up sometimes and other times it,
well, when you start doing that, you're raising the price too.
Yeah.
So,
So what is the, I know you said October 1st is spawning season or whatnot, but how long period of time is that?
I don't think you can get back in the brooks until,
July something, was it? July 5th?
no, I think it's sooner than that, but I'm not sure when you can get back in, to be honest with you. But
middle of May.
I
rings
wanted
a
to say
bell.
early
Yeah,
spring,
Yeah.
yeah.
But because of water conditions, I think that's when Colin had told us that it was later in the season that.
Usually your water's too high early in the spring.
That brook is a big sucker.
Yep.
Yeah.
That brook was 6
I
feet.
mean, I've seen suckers blind, I've seen the water black up there with suckers.
It's gone out twice in
The water was 6
15
feet.
years.
15 years.
6 feet on top of Drew's coming down there.
I believe, and this is just my theory, because I didn't see the water coming down through there, something let go up beyond upstream. And if somebody could walk up through there to the power lines, there's a bank of soil that's probably missing 1,500 yards of sand.
There's a
That
lot.
sand plugged that culvert.
There's a lot of sand on the inlet side.
There is.
And
Yeah.
the culvert itself didn't let go. And the workmanship in putting that last culvert in.
Yeah,
that-
the
no, that
Gabion
clogged,
baskets
yeah.
are there.
The baskets are there, everything is sitting there just the way it was installed. But the sand that came down through, and whether there's a tree stump or something inside that culvert blocking that up and plugged it, but the sand is almost to the top of the culvert, so the water had to go somewhere and it had to come up.
The overflow culvert took as much as it could, because if you look on the outlet side, on the overflow, it all washed.
Yeah. But
From
there's
there,
there's no sand, it's either downstream by quite a bit, there's no sand, I couldn't walk down through there, but, there's no sand downstream, it's all upstream of the culvert.
Yep.
So,
There is a little gravel that's gone downstream, but that's to be expected from the road. But
So the easiest fix is just to put a culvert back in, right? Whether or not that suffices 10 years from today or the next time we get 6 inches of rain. I certainly wouldn't pave it again. But that's.
I think you got to pave it again, just because it's
yeah, I think,
it's a middle. You know, each end is The only pavement that you're missing right now is what's over the
Just over the
culvert.
top of the culvert.
So the real question is that do we know what the traffic flow is over Schoolway?
It's a major,
None today.
Well, no, I know that today, but
let's put it this way, the people that live on that road would probably be happy.
I was just gonna ask you, like, so the people that live there, have you met with them?
I haven't, not yet.
Is it unreasonable to say we should meet with them and say, hey, listen, you want a dead end here? If you want a dead end, we'll make it a dead end and rip wrap the sides and.
It's not unreasonable at all, but I mean, either way, it's gonna be closed this winter.
Yeah.
We don't have the time to
Right.
fix it.
But maybe they like a dead end, and we don't have to have that be a pass through, and then just go down Middle Road to West Road and take your right. I don't know
It
if that's
would-
reasonable, or,
I get a lot of complaints about people not stopping on Scooter and Ospey Hill, running the stop signs there. So, that might,
it's a dangerous intersection.
coming off
I can tell you that.
Ospey Hill.
it might alleviate that
Our
problem.
biggest worry at this point, I would believe, is to get that car out of there, so that doesn't fall, if somebody gets out on that. And-
Oh, I agree.
And that's what we got to
And
do.
that's, we're stuck right now without DEP. We've been trying for a week and a half to get DEP on site, and finally Mike sent.
Let's shake it out and see what they say.
Yep.
I mean, if we
Well,
can.
I just, wanted to bring it to,
But,
get you guys thinking about it a little bit, see what you wanted to do, so.
I mean, realistically, if we don't put a culvert in, we gotta get that one out, so the water's gonna flow down through there.
Oh, yeah.
So we're gonna-
You gotta stabilize,
we gotta
restabilize the bank.
Stabilize everything, and the end of that culvert is
If you close it.
dented so bad that you're down to probably a 2.5, 3 foot culvert on the opening side.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
Because
I
I
mean,
think
if that,
concave,
It's washed up.
if that.
I
yeah.
think we have.
So we probably gonna have to pull that culvert out,
Right, long term.
Rip wrap the banks.
but if we're gonna pull that out,
Yeah, do a slope bank, rip wrap it,
by the
pull
time,
your Jersey
by
barriers
the time
back.
you do that, you're gonna have about the same amount of money in it as your 6 foot culvert dropping that back in the hole, because the hole's already there. And you're only gonna get down to the bottom of that, and you gotta go down to the bottom of the brook
Yep.
in order for that water to flow. And then you're gonna have to riff-raff big rocks in the brook bed. If you clean it out and drop that 6 foot culvert in, you're only talking 20 loads of gravel. You know, I mean, you're 6 by 6 feet deep and
I would think they would wanna reset the gabion baskets
Yeah.
and
yeah.
check things out.
Well, we'll see what DEP
But you're
says.
gonna have to take them out, in order to pull that culvert, you're gonna take the gabion baskets out. So they're gonna be setting up on the bank, I mean, you could use them for barricades, probably.
Yeah, we'll see what DEP has to say. I don't know if they'll make us take those out,
Yeah.
because the mouth is, the inlet is, it's established, we just
Yeah.
gotta slope that bank.
Unless you can get in there, because with all this rain that's coming now,
Wow.
whether you could even get in there with a set of torches and cut the end of that out.
Yeah, I mean, we can hook something on that,
Yeah.
rip it right out, so.
Okay.
Okay.
Anything else? Okay. That's enough, huh? All right, let's move on. Item 6, public comment. Step right up to the mic.
My name's Jade Carpolino. I'm a resident of Waterboro. I'm trying to propose an ordinance change and have it added to the warrant for the November election. I understand I'm very late to the game on that. I just want to explain. To get this ordinance, it took a lot of time, energy, resources, and we wanted to develop an ordinance that was fair and reasonable. I should explain. We're trying to change an ordinance for medical marijuana stores in the town of Waterboro. I gave her copies of the ordinance for you guys. Okay. So like I said, we wanted to develop an ordinance that was fair and reasonable to all cannabis businesses we wanted to develop an ordinance that had performance standards and restrictions similar to communities surrounding us. The proposed ordinance is more stringent than what is provided to stores that sell alcohol and tobacco products currently in Waterboro. And the proposed ordinance is more stringent than state standards at the current moment. If you choose to discuss this further, I would like to request that you add this to the agenda for tonight's meeting. If you do, I have further bulletin points that go into detail regarding my request to add it to the ballot.
Well, let me just react quickly. Normally, we put things on the agenda so that people that want to come to this meeting and talk about or for or against something. So this wasn't part of our published agenda.
Yeah, I just got my ordinance back.
Be that as it may, okay? And we have, legal review that's got to be done, all of those kind of things for the charter, right? To make sure that those kinds of things are done. So
I understand that. I technically have till Friday to get the 300 signatures. I'm sure you're aware of that. Obviously that's very difficult, whereas today's Tuesday. That's why I'm bringing it to you, because there's more than one way to get it put on the ballot, this being the other way. I just want you to know that last time that marijuana was voted on in Waterboro was in 2016. And as far as retail stores, medical or recreational, again, I'm only going for medical, it only lost by 68 votes. Now, 2016 was a long time ago. People's minds have changed a lot. Laws have changed a lot. People are more open and understanding to marijuana than they were. And if you look at your surrounding towns, mostly everyone around you has opted in. It's an opportunity for Waterboro to make more money. You can, in my ordinance, I have yearly licensing fees of $1,000 that, the town can collect every single year. The reason I'm trying to push for November is we're going to have a higher voter turnout in November than I would in July. And if you really want the town to speak on what they want, this would be the election for that. You're going to have more people to speak, to vote what they want. So that's, obviously I'm in a predicament where that's why I'm here asking, but.
Yep.
So I've sort of perused this. I haven't read every word. So
No.
here's the only pushback that I have. My pushback is not against the sale of marijuana if the town wants it. I don't want you to get a defensive position because you think I'm coming from there. I'm not.
Okay.
But this is a major change for the town. So if it's a major change, I would not feel comfortable rushing it through. So to me, this needs to be read by myself and fellow selectmen, town administrator, maybe even planning board, because they're involved in ordinances. And then there are, roughly 7,500 more people, 8,000 more people that probably want to have some input into where this can happen, the zones, the districts.
So that's also in my ordinance. I have zoning restrictions and.
Right, but that doesn't mean that people want them in that.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? So you have somebody who says, wait a minute, I'm in this zone, I built my house in this zone, now you're gonna put this next door. They're gonna come here and they're gonna say something. So my opinion is if you rush something like this, it's not good for the town. And it ends up not being good for the people that are now opening businesses. Because you want to be well received.
Yeah, so I have a question on that. So if that's the case with me coming here, then what happens if I get 300 signatures before Friday? Doesn't it automatically go on the ballot?
Okay, so if you get 300 signatures before Friday and they're verified, they go on the ballot. This goes on the ballot. Right?
Okay.
But if you do that, I'm inclined to think that it wouldn't be to your benefit because it didn't, we said no because of the process, right? We said no because we were thinking about what's the process look like to make a major change like this. So people are gonna go to the polls and they're gonna be like, wait a minute, I'll put my brakes on for a minute, I'm gonna think about this. No, not right now. That's what I think is gonna happen. Maybe it doesn't. Maybe this goes right through, and before you know it, we have this ordinance as written effective.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to make it so that if something like this did pass, at least the businesses that open are well received in town. And, you know, people aren't in front of your store, you know, putting up signs, and we don't want that. You see the, like,
Yeah.
it's perception, right? It's a perception thing.
Can I just say one more
Yeah.
thing? Sorry.
Yeah,
So, in June of this year, the state did an extensive 66-page study on the benefits of having medical marijuana stores in your town, and what they do as far as the illicit market and eliminating the illicit market. Obviously, like I said, we're surrounded by stores, and the town of Waterboro does not have one, so we're obviously going to have a higher illicit market than, say, Hollis, who has 5 stores on 202 within a mile. Do you know what I mean? The state specifically calls out a handful of towns in their study saying that, you know, you should be in this because, you know, your town has a high illicit market and stuff like that. So just something to think about. So yeah, that's all I have.
Dwayne? Anything?
I think we're at the last half hour here. It's pushing it, because somewhere along the line, we gotta have a public hearing, and we haven't got time enough between now and tonight is our last night to vote on things, unless we have a special meeting
For the ballot.
Thursday night, as far as putting this on the ballot. As far as getting more people out, a year from now, you get your presidential election, which is gonna bring out a lot more voters than what you're gonna have in November of this year. So, planning board should have a public hearing, planning board should look at this, and in my mind, it's just pushing something that ain't our way of doing business.
So, just to clarify, if you bring in a petition, when a petition comprising initiative or referendum has been certified as sufficient by the town clerk, Board of Selectmen shall call a public hearing within 30 days from the date of the filing of such petition with the town clerk. Within 30 days after such public hearing, the board shall call a special town meeting or shall schedule for the next annual town meeting. So I think you're out of time, because we can't approve this going on to the November ballot without first having a public hearing.
It's an ordinance change.
Okay, I guess there's just some miscommunication then on the front end, because I was just told differently if I got the signatures by Friday.
Well, you can get the signatures by Friday, but it doesn't have, per the charter, and you can look at section
Yeah, that's fine.
803, okay, on ordinance, on petitions comprising initiatives or referendums, which this would be, all right? When it's certified by the town clerk,
Yep.
all right, the Board of Selectmen shall call a public hearing within 30 days from the date of the filing of the petition with the town clerk. Within 30 days after that public hearing, then we will schedule a special town meeting, which
Okay.
I don't think you need, because you're gonna get
Yeah.
100 people to show up to a
Yeah.
special town meeting, or the next annual town meeting.
Okay.
So, I think you really have kind of missed the window of opportunity here, and it looks like, you know, certainly if you want to have a petition and it's sufficient and whatnot, then we would push it to the annual town meeting, or the annual
But you're saying
referendum.
it couldn't be on the November ballot regardless?
I don't see in accordance with the charter, there's no way unless we vote tonight to add it, and I'm not ready to do that, only because, you know, we got this an hour and a half ago.
If we vote to put this on the ballot tonight too, it says written.
Yeah.
There's no planning board input,
Right.
there's no town.
And there's no legal input
So,
from the town's attorney, so,
Okay,
okay?
Just haven't given us quite time enough to do everything.
sorry.
All right,
Thanks.
thank you. All right, let's move on. Correspondence, we have the treasurer's report, the Maine Community Media Association communication from CTAM, Selectman Woodsome's newsletter, Senator Woodsome's newsletter, and Congresswoman Pingree's communications. If anybody's interested in looking at that, they certainly can contact the town and we'll make sure that you get a copy. Reports and staff initiatives, Selectmen's reports. Mike, do you have?
I haphazardly stopped into the cemetery committee's meeting 2 Mondays ago. And the stones that were defaced with profanity have been cleaned up. And actually I drove down there to take a look at them. They look really, really good.
This is all the green paint.
Yeah, all the green paint with the obscene images, yes, drawings. So that cemetery that's up here off Townhouse Road on the left-hand side, just before you get to Deering Ridge and Weber Road's intersection, that's been cleaned up. It looks really, really nice. So they actually, it looks to me like they did all the stones. They had a guy come in and pressure wash them. So I don't know if there was a fee for that, or if somebody today, if I felt terrible, I'm donating my services, that I don't know, but it looks really, really good. Obviously, the road review committee met, but this was prior to the last Selectmen's meeting, so I'm not going to speak to that. We just came up with the recommendations for road closures for the winter. And I think the improvements down in the park down here on the lake, very well received by everybody. It looks really, really nice down there. It feels safe. The only thing I would add that we can talk about in the future is just looking at where the dock's located and how long it is, but that's for next year.
I think we've talked about adding
Another section.
another section to it.
And, what was the last thing I had? I forgot.
Can't help it with that.
Yeah, I know. Can't help me there. Oh, the baseball field. Drove by that, looked over to the left, caught my eye that we actually had infield base running paths and stuff. Looks really, really good. Nice job. And people are noticing that. So our little leaguers in town, I think, will be thrilled to find out that they have a really nice baseball field for next year. So thank you very much for that.
Okay, Dwayne, anything?
Just hopefully we got water enough down there to take care of the new seed.
Keep it green.
Ground, yeah.
Right now is not a problem.
No.
But could be next August.
Zoning Board of Appeals met last Thursday night. I did not make it, but they have extended their meeting till this coming Thursday night. So they approved one garage and the other one up here on Ospey Mountain Road is got to have some more information. So that takes care of that. I think that's about it, Dennis.
Okay. I did attend, and knowing Dwayne was not going to make the ZBA meeting, I did go to the ZBA session, and as he mentioned, one of the additions was, or garages, I think, is what they're looking for. Got moved to, got it extended to this Thursday night. So I was just a little bit taken back with how kind of unprepared people are when they,
I know.
you know. But that's, and maybe there's more that we can do as a, you know, from the code office or whatever to kind of help them through some of this process.
Some are very, very familiar with the process, and others
Yep.
come in and realistically are rude when they come in because they think the town owes them something.
Yep. Matt?
All right, just a few things. We've had several interviews for the part-time customer service and assessing assistant. We have not yet filled this position. We've made the offer a couple times, but we have had them decline. Most of them don't want to commute, I guess. But we're going to talk to, once Laura starts, we want to sit down and talk to her. And we may need to look at additional hours so that we can, Shirley out with assessing, currently at 24 hours, so we need to look at the budget dollars and see what we have for the 16 hours. I think the paperwork from this tax stabilization is flooding her office. So we'll work on that. Public Works still has a driver labor opening for Public Works. Mike's already talked about Friendship Park.
Sorry.
That's okay. That's okay. And as far as Town Hall, we're working with a flooring contractor, so it starts next week on the 13th. There'll be 13th, 14th, and 15th in the building here working. And then starting the weekend of that same weekend coming up, the 17th and 18th, and Monday the 19th will be closed. They'll be doing the hallways and the lobby. So closed on Monday the 19th. I had an opportunity to speak with John Vicari at the Water District the other day, talking about their current water issues they've got going on and the need for the additional well. I would suggest that in the near future, a joint meeting with the Water District to talk about current and future needs. We have some good dialogue and conversation between the board here and with the Water District. We do have the draft letter created for, as a result of the workshop last week, for the foreclosed properties to send out, and we'll get that sent out by certified and regular mail shortly. As for all the tax acquired properties, not the other ones.
Going through that list of tax acquired properties, we do not have a lot of them
No, we've had a lot that are still coming in.
coming in, so
And I think that letter will help.
once the letter goes out, I don't think we're gonna have but a handful of them to go to auction or bid.
At some point, you'll just have to look at that other list
Yeah.
Right.
and determine which ones you want to part with at that point.
Okay,
Thank you.
any questions of Matt? All set? All right, new business, discuss vote on appointing a new member to the Old Home Days Committee. So what is your pleasure there?
Make a motion that we appoint Eric Effective to the Old Homes Days Committee.
I'll second that.
Any discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Motion carries 3-0. All right, discuss vote on temporary closing of some roads in winter. We've had a public hearing this evening. In the closure documents that you've got here for us to sign, are there specific dates on that?
There's lines for you to fill it in.
Okay. So,
I will make a motion to close, and I'm not gonna read the sign footage, but the Deering Ridge Road, Bennett Hill Road, from the dump to the other end, and the Chadman's Ridge Road. You got numbers right there.
number 478 through
From 478 to
811.
811. Close that from December 1st till May 1st for the next,
Gonna be April 30th.
April 30th, okay. From December 1st till April 30th for the next 5 years.
I'll second that.
Okay, been moved and seconded.
Explanation to it.
Okay.
Let's see what gets developed on either one of these road frontages in the next 5 years to, it'll give us some idea of what's going on.
Okay. Been moved-
We can take action to amend that though, right? Or to
Yeah, I would,
rescind that at some point.
I would think that we could do that. I'm not sure that we would have to have another public hearing, but we can double check that.
Yeah.
You're fixed on the 5 years?
Yes, yeah.
No, wait a minute. The municipal officers may, on their own initiative or upon a petition by 7 legal voters, at any time subsequent to 1 year from the date of the final determination after notice of hearing, et cetera, municipal officers shall file, and I think we can then amend that order. So,
Okay.
That was the way I read it, so. And it says that we can go from 1 year to 10 years, and I'm going in between because the way the town's being developed on Chapman's Ridge, somebody may go in there and open it up. So
Yeah.
at that point, we're gonna,
so the understanding is that right now we would utilize signage. And if that becomes problematic, then we'll have to take some next step.
Yeah.
Okay? Any other discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. All right, suggest, vote, or I guess endorse the new tax commitment. So Shirley is with us this evening. And you have from her a couple of tax calculations, right? And I think the last sheet is only because this goes back to when Ted and I were both on the board and we used our properties to calculate. But so how much did we increase?
We increased, we picked up in new value from building permits, 20,500,000. So we picked that up. Then I increased values by 12%, and that gets us up close enough so our 10% allowance with M.R.S. Gets us to 100.
So that keeps 100% of homestead
For-
exemption.
Yes, for
And 100% of
reimbursements.
veterans exemptions.
Yes. So overall, increase in value is 105 million.
Okay?
And that's because the state sales was what, 82%?
That's with the 20,500,000 we picked up in new construction.
Yeah.
And then, in addition to that, the 12% increase in values.
To get us, so you
Land and
have that
building.
difference from to
Yes.
bump it to 100.
Yes.
And this doesn't take into account any, what are we calling it, LD 290?
Right, 290.
Right.
No, that will be next year.
Because that's going to be 100% reimbursed by the state,
Yes.
supposedly.
What is in that 20 million though is almost 7 million for the solar array, 719 Main Street. And that is exempt, but we get a 50% reimbursement.
So are we considering that 50% coming back to the town?
I added it into other revenues.
Okay.
And
Just in
that does
case.
not include the Roberts Ridge one, because that's not complete.
No, it does
That'd be
not.
another-
That will be,
Well,
Yes.
that'll be April 1st of next year, right?
Yes.
Or how much have they got down at McLucas?
I don't know. I haven't been out
I
there.
know you said they had a bridge up there, but
Yeah.
I don't think
Well,
much.
Jason might
They have a-
know.
I don't
they have
think
a-
much.
I don't think
Okay.
much.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you can still hear them pounding,
okay.
hammering
All right.
away.
It would be good if we could pick that up next year.
Right. So the two, between the two of them, right?
Yes.
Potentially is another
Another,
7.
they're about the same size, I think. Another 6 or 7 million.
So we have authority to use up to 800 rand of the fund balance. So I think Shirley's put together two options here, 500 and 600. I'm not sure that, based on Ron's comments at his last session with us, whether or not we want to go to 8 or not again, because that's going to be a little bit dicey.
Yeah.
So the 500K would put the tax rate at $14.60. with a $75,000 overlay, and based on abatements and stuff, that should cover abatements and
Yeah.
that stuff, right? The 600K would drop it by a dime to $1,450. And, you know, you get about the same thing, about $1,000 more overlay. So,
Do you feel that we can use the 600,000 and not get hurt?
As far as
As far
taking it out of fund
Yeah,
balance?
yeah.
Well, that's probably not a question for me, maybe Matt or Dennis
Yeah.
could answer that better.
And Ron had targeted 500,000 originally when
Yes.
we came to the table, but he's come back and he says, well, if you really want to and you need to, you can.
just remember, last year, state revenue sharing was $250,000 more than what we had budgeted, right?
Anticipated.
So, because of the sales tax and all the,
Yes,
and this year, it's now, what, $1 million, I think, is
yes.
the anticipation, but who knows what that'll come out to be. So,
And there's no new projections right now, so.
so you get, if you look at the worst case scenario of 500K, you get about a 7.8% increase in taxes. If you bump it to 600K, it drops it to about 7%. So,
He was making mention of how much cash on hand will we be keeping to operate the town if a disaster happened?
1.3 million.
So he wanted us to keep enough for, I think he mentioned, was it 6 months cash on hand?
He wanted us to increase it, and that's what the conversation.
We were at 3, and he wanted us to increase it to 6. So that fund balance contributes to the cash on hand, I assume,
Yep.
right?
Well, some of it's paper money, but, you know,
Yeah.
you're right.
So I guess I would feel more comfortable if we didn't touch that and tried to grow our cash on hand for a few years. That way, where, you know, it's going to affect your bond rate, it's going to affect your, you know, your credit rating. So, I mean, I think that's what he was cautioning us against was, you know, your bond rates might go up, things might.
I guess I'm just almost the opposite because we got more money coming in than anticipated, so I think at this point we could go to the 600,000 and not get hurt at all because one's gonna offset the other one.
As long as everything stays in budget.
Yeah,
That's right.
and as long as the state
Comes through.
Yeah.
Right.
to hold, so.
And the other
Well,
thing,
the budget is set up there, so,
I think we will. I mean, I think we're doing well, sales tax wise, the state with, you know, tourism coming back and rejuvenating all that.
I can't picture them going backwards this year.
Yeah.
the other thing we had in the other revenues was some of the ARPA funds, what was being used this year. So another thing to think about, at some point, we won't have that anymore.
right.
So we're gonna have to, next year, what do we have to absorb from the
It'll be,
not next year, but the year
Yeah.
after?
Year after.
Yes,
so it's what, 400,000 or something in that?
3 and change.
Three
yeah.
and change, so. You know, it might be
I mean,
good,
another
it might be
year
good
we
to
have
have
to
the.
look at that, but.
Either way, we're not going up significantly on
Right.
the mill rate. The evaluation,
because that's going up, yes.
So the real issue is trying to keep the valuation in line with the state.
Yes,
And that's becoming a challenge because, you know, the state looks at a sale versus us assessing a property. And, I mean, just this handful of crazy stuff that's going on. You got cottages or homes on a lake going for $1 million, and we get them assessed at $450. You got homes in LAC that, you know, were assessed at $170, they're selling for $3.
right.
So that's we're gonna chase that.
Realistically, a $200,000 home, 175 to $200,000 home, using the 600K, will go up roughly $175 to $200
Right,
on a bill.
yes.
And let's be clear, this is not just town money,
Right.
not just town budget that has increased. The school system
Oh, I
has
know.
increased substantially, so this all has to be diffused. Can we better explain, how many people did we have take advantage of by the homestead or the veterans exemption? Do you
We
know?
have, I didn't look at the count today, but usually it's about 1,600, I believe, for the homestead.
So about
Yeah.
30% of our population?
Because when they
Yes.
raised it by $5,000
Yes.
last year, it hurt us by 8 million, right?
Yes, it
So-
did. And they did increase the reimbursement this year
Right.
from 70% to 73. So that came
And
up a
it's
bit.
supposed to ultimately go to 100, but we'll
Well,
believe that when we see
Well,
it.
exactly.
So I think it's important for people
And I
out
think,
there to understand that if we don't keep the valuations up to par with what the state defines as being up to par, 1,600 people are not going to get a homestead or a veterans exemption.
They'll get
they'll get a
they'll get
portion
a
of
portion,
it.
but it'll be
You won't get
reduced.
100%, it'll be
You
reduced.
won't.
So
And-
it's important for us to do that, but on the other hand, it shifts the burden onto families.
Well,
You know,
Yes.
The other thing that will
It does.
next year that will shift some of that money is when people over 65 years old become a fixed.
yeah.
Right, we have a
Became
big
lot.
stack of those waiting to
Well,
process.
Assuming that the state reimburses us, that's
Yes.
fine. But if the state backs off a little bit, then
It's gonna hurt.
everybody's gonna absorb a
And
And she
piece of
said,
that.
and you said, correct me if I'm wrong, but to apply every year because it looks back.
you have to apply
looks back
every
to the prior
year. It is, all it does is freezes your taxes to what they were the year before.
Right.
So it's almost like you're just paying a year behind what you normally would pay.
Yeah, so the
So it's
the
not gonna
following
freeze the
year,
tax
Not
permanently.
once, no,
Yeah.
it's just a
it
reset.
doesn't
every
freeze
year.
it permanently, it
Yeah.
freezes it from what it would be
Yeah,
the
The previous
previous
year.
it's
year.
just like this year you'd be paying
Because that
last
could
year's
change
tax rate.
with the next legislature.
And, but we do, it's good practice to keep the values as close to 100% as they can be. I would have to think they should be leveling out at some point, though. You know, they've just been going up.
Sooner or
and up.
later, I mean, there's less inventory,
Yes,
there's, you know. so-
and prices, I think, are up there, but I don't think the inventory is moving
Right.
quite as quickly as it was.
The issue is that your average home might not be moving as quickly. But
Waterfronts
these homes right
definitely.
here,
Mhm.
1.4 million for a three-bedroom, two-bathroom. I mean,
Yes.
just absurd numbers that I hear, and I
Yes.
just shake my head and say, those are anomalies, but how do anomalies affect us in the end?
Well, they're in there, when you
Well,
do a sales ratio study, you take the top 15% out and the bottom.
Okay.
And you use that mid 70%, so that things that are way out of reason one way or another takes them out.
Yeah,
Or
it
if you see.
used to be the state revenue services could kick off.
Well, we still do that.
All right.
You know, we go through the sales every year and qualify them.
Right.
I do, before I send it to the state. Then I get together with the state auditor, and we go through, and if there's a sale that's totally unrealistic, well, I saw one last year, it was the sale of the storage units. You know, that isn't like a residential sale, but way out of, there's something wrong with that sale, it's just way out of line. But, so anything we see that is, we don't use it in the sales ratio study. So, yeah,
But there's quite a few of them that are up there too, on those
Yeah.
waterfront properties.
right. So that if, hopefully that answers your question.
It does.
Yeah.
I like the top 15%, the lower 15% just kind
You
of.
In
need
the
us-
middle.
You need us to vote on this tonight.
Well, she can set the rate,
no.
we just gonna
You just have
endorse it.
to
I
give me some guidance, I guess, on which way you want to go.
I'll make a motion that we take the 600,000 out of the fund balance and go with that second set of figures that she's got on the far right-hand side of the last sheet.
What is the fund balance that we have right now? What is it? It's 800 and something?
No, it's.
We can use
the
up
fund
to
balance. Well, we don't know what it is this,
We won't know until the audit's done anyways.
the audit, but the previous audit
The
was.
town meeting vote was that we could use up, the townspeople said that we could use up to 800,000.
Right, but it was like, it's like 5 million. 4 and change, and $1.3 million of that can't be touched. Some of that's paper money for uncollected taxes, et cetera, those kind of things, so.
I'll second Dwayne's vote. Dwayne's motion.
Okay? Any further discussion? All those in favor? You have your,
We'll go with
you
600.
get your endorsement for
Great,
moving
thank you.
forward.
Thank you.
Okay? Thanks, Shirley.
Thank you for all your work.
Oh, thank you. Thanks for having me. How's that?
All right. Item D, discuss vote on approving a municipal quitclaim deed for map 55, lot 42.
I take it this is a paid-off tax.
This is a paid-off tax.
I'll make a motion to approve the quitclaim deed for map 55, lot 42.
Second.
All those in favor? Opposed? Thank you. All right.
Pay your taxes.
Yeah, I think there was 4 years back taxes, yes. All right, item 5, E rather, discuss vote on renewal of a liquor license for the Eagles. And we have all of the paperwork from code office, sheriff's office.
Looking at all the paperwork, I don't see any great issues there. I'd make a motion to renew the liquor license for the Eagles. 4392 is the Eagles
Number.
number of the
The chapter.
chapter, yeah. I was trying to think of the word in here.
Okay? Do I have a second?
Yep. Yep.
All right. Been moved by Dwayne, second by Mike. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. Discuss vote on approving the November 2022 municipal election warrant. So this will add 3 items. One is to elect the missing selectman. So it will be an 8-month term to expire in June. Article 3 will be to vote by secret ballot to establish a charter commission. Be established for the purpose of reviewing or revising the municipal charter. And we probably ought to. Okay, those are Natalie's words, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, because she said we can't have a new charter,
Correct.
it's gotta be a revision. And the other one, Article 4, will be to add, I'll see if the town will vote to designate the Waterboro Omnibus Municipal Tax Increment Financing District. So that's a TIF district, and a development program for said TIF district. This kind of takes in, correct me if I'm wrong, but all of the potential development in the East Waterboro district, and actually goes up all the way to
Jellison.
from Jellison Road all the way to the the double wide pole line. So anything that gets developed in that area, which includes the solar farm,
Yep, on the Moon, the old
Okay.
Moon property.
will not go into, to put it bluntly, won't go into the total valuation of the municipality. So, and similar TIF districts, Hollis has one with Poland Springs. So that development at Poland Springs, they go back to the original assessment on the land, and anything above and beyond that goes into quote-unquote the TIF budget and can be spent on various municipal projects.
And this is for 30 years.
Right. So, and it can be modified.
Yep.
That's gonna
This
say
is-
it can be modified.
Right. It's not exclusive.
In
So-
short, it appears, it's, in today's number, about $165,000 annually.
Right.
So the only concern I have with voting on Article 4 to be on the ballot is that the public hearing for it is on September 20th.
You know, we have to have the public hearing before the vote.
But wouldn't we want to have a public hearing and then vote to put it on the ballot?
Well, in this case, we don't have,
It seems, it just seems, I'm not, it's process, or just for me, it's like, it seems like if you vote to put something on the ballot, it's gonna be on the ballot, because the ballot's gonna go to print.
Yeah, you gotta go back in history too, because we've already had several public hearings on it, but this just never got done. This was a town administrator's project that never got completed. And we've been through this whole thing, we just never put it to the townspeople's vote.
So there were several things we had to accomplish before we could get this to you to vote on even tonight. And one was what she just brought in for we need those, the figures she had. And you need to get that to the voters to vote yea or nay, so that this can be submitted to the state, to the economic, economic development with the state to approve this district in early March. So we couldn't do it in November because of the timing that we have. So that's the timing situation.
and if we, and, I mean,
So my question is, can this be put on the June ballot?
No, because we can't submit it to the state in time. Because that's after the deadline.
yeah, the deadline is March. For, you know, it could, I suppose you could say the June ballot for a 2024 March approval.
Well, that's weird.
And you really want to be able to capture that Malone property.
No,
And the project is one beside the subway.
Right.
I understand. The only issue I have with it is, if I vote tonight, yes, I'm putting this on the ballot.
That's right.
But yet I haven't had a public hearing yet to get public comment on it.
You know, but you're gonna have.
I've heard TIFs go bad,
Yeah.
I've heard TIFs go good, and I've heard TIFs go bad. So, I guess, I mean, the concern I have is I don't have any public feedback to say, yeah, you know what, Mike, put it on the ballot. And if it's that controversial,
We've had at least 2 public hearings.
Well, if the public reacts negatively to it, then it's just gonna get voted down in November.
maybe.
Well,
I'm in a conundrum here, because you need my vote to do it.
um,
Do you know what I mean? Like, oh, it could be
Yeah.
2, okay,
Yeah.
I'm fine, okay,
Well,
that's right,
no, I mean,
sorry,
Well, we need a second.
You need a majority. You need to,
you can
we
second.
would have,
No, I can't second.
What?
Well, I suppose I
Well, the chair can
could.
second.
but if you seconded it, that don't mean you're just putting it on for us to vote on.
Doesn't mean I have to vote
It
yes.
don't mean that you
Okay.
gotta vote.
All right,
So what is your pleasure?
well, you don't mind.
I'll make a motion to send the TIF district to the November election.
So you're, in essence, you're approving the municipal, this isn't an annual municipal warrant, yeah.
No, did I write annual?
Yeah, so you got,
That is-
yeah.
It's
So
special.
it just needs to be municipal election warrant.
I thought that's fine.
Is it a special?
No,
Okay. I can fix that quick for you before you sign it.
no, that's fine. Well, yeah, it'll have to be changed before we sign it.
Right.
So what you're voting, what you're making a motion on is to approve this warrant as written,
Right.
okay?
Excluding the annual
Right.
election.
So you want to second that?
For process, yes.
Okay, so it's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Sensing none. All those in favor? All those opposed? Motion carries 2-1. Duly noted of your
It's okay.
process objection. All right. Another discuss vote on approving municipal quitclaim deed for map 55, lot 14.
That must be the same situation where taxes have been paid.
Yep.
Yes.
So
Make a motion.
Go
Okay. I'll second.
ahead, I don't care.
I'll make a motion.
Okay, been moved. Second, Lane,
Yeah,
for issue a municipal quitclaim deed for map 55, lot 14. And this covers 4 years back taxes. All those in favor? Opposed? Motion carries 3-0. All right. Let's get into old business. Discuss vote on New York County Sheriff's contract. This has been flopping back and forth. Probably longer than it should have. We've made some suggestions to York County on various additions that we wanted to add to the contract. They've come back and commented that they really couldn't change some of that because of the union contract language, etc. I think at this point we either move forward and with the contract. I think that was the vote of the people in June was to fund it. I guess we could say we're not sign it and not fund it, but I think that, generally everybody voted to keep the contract deputies. Or certainly the majority voted that way. So what are your thoughts?
I think we need to be clear with them for what your expectations would be for next year then, as well. I did send you the breakdown, and just giggles here. One motor vehicle stop.
You emailed it to us?
Yeah.
Yeah.
One motor vehicle stop by Deputy Johnson for the last month, for August.
Okay.
We've had this issue repeatedly. We're talking about on Route 5. We're stuck. We don't have the enforcement for the traffic on Route 5. That's what we told the state. But one traffic stop's been identified in the call reason breakdown provided by them for the deputy. He had 12 initiated for Deputy Johnson and 52 that were dispatched to him for a total of 64 that month.
Total cost.
Total cost for him. And I really struggle with that.
All right. Can I take it from here?
Go for it.
Is that okay? All right. So the sheriff stood here and he gave me a piece of paper that said 782 traffic stops. I believe it was 782. I haven't looked at it for 6 months. I photographic memory is telling me that. Total in the town of Waterboro. Now, that was sold to me as though our 2 deputies made 782 traffic stops. That raised an eyebrow. That doesn't make sense. That's a lot of traffic stops. You expect that from a state trooper on the turnpike. Then we got a document that said, oh, 1 month was only 6 traffic stops. We'll do the math. 6 times 12, 72. It's the total sheriff's office's work for those 782 traffic stops on all shifts in the town of Waterboro. So I feel like I wasn't given the information correctly for me to justify the cost of the contract. So they can come back and say, look, we're sorry that happened. We'll accept the apology. That's fine. That can happen. But I felt like that information was provided to me and it wasn't truthful. The second thing is we have traffic problems in this town. We have motor vehicle complaints in this town. I've called in motor vehicle complaints in this town. Old Alfred Road, Route 5, any of these back roads, night shift, second shift, first shift, it doesn't matter. You got to stop more than 1 car in a month when we know that we have issues with stuff moving through this state, right? That's how you enforce things. Now, I would vote tonight to not even sign the contract, to be honest with you, because I feel like it didn't come to us truthfully. We asked them if we could use a pickup truck instead, so when we retire the pickup truck, we can take that pickup truck and we can put it to good use by the town, Public Works, Parks and Recs, right? You got to haul stuff. You got a pickup truck. We don't have a need for an SUV. So when we retire these SUVs, nobody needs an SUV. They won't do that. It's a hard stop. In fact, they said is a no-go, pretty much, on the contract. So we don't get that we want. We don't have control over the hours that they work. There's not a lot of transparency as to when they're in Leamington, or when they're in Parsonsfield, or Hollis. So we may budget $225,000 for coverage, but the question is, what's the actual coverage that we're getting in the amount of hours spent in the town of Waterboro? Granted, they won't charge us the full $225. They do prorate things. But what we're voting for is law enforcement. We want to know. We have 2 deputies in this town that are patrolling this town that are dedicated to the law enforcement in this town. What I feel like we're doing is subsidizing a sheriff's office that maintains a SWAT team or a response team for the county. We're subsidizing that. And I will note that if I look back on the ballot of this town, in the elections, if the sheriff is our police chief, I don't think we voted that police chief into office. So I struggle with that too. Because we have a chief of police who this town did not vote for as its chief of police. So there's a lot of issues with these contracts. I'm not a defund the police. I'm not. I'm actually a fund the police. I would actually expand the patrol. I would put more deputies on. I've told other selectmen that. I think it's important to have law and order in a community. But when you're spending money for something you're not getting anything for, or you're not getting back what you need, why spend the money? It's like, just keep the money. Do a contract warden or something for issues that we have in this town, on trails and on that lake and on the other lakes. Do a contract warden instead. I just think we could use the money better for safety and for law enforcement. I hate to say that because I really appreciate the guys on the road. I was one of them. This is a tough thing for me to say. But in reality, they're either getting pulled too much and they can't do the job here, which is an administrative issue, or they're struggling to do the job. I don't know. It's tough. That's it.
Just for your information, deputy-wide for everybody else in Waterboro, 97 traffic stops
For a month?
for the month of August.
So the sheriff's office as a whole is pulling over more, stopping more vehicles than the ones that we actually have in our cars that we buy and pay for. And by the way, they say they don't maintain the cars. They don't maintain the cars, we do.
We do. We have another bill coming
Well,
for
they
another
say in here, the
transmission.
maintenance issues with the truck, who cares? We take care of it. If we want a truck, give us a truck.
Agreed.
At least they can go up these, they can go halfway up the mountain when they're doing some enforcement of off-road stuff with a truck and with a Ford Explorer.
There is another town in York County that had requested a truck, and they got it either coming or is in service at this point.
Oh, that's interesting. I don't know, I don't feel like the relationship's mutual. I just feel like the town of Waterboro is subsidizing something that we're just not getting back.
Dwayne, anything?
No. We get some service, but not a lot.
Well, I'm real concerned, and what I asked Matt to do was take this call breakdown for August and kind of compare it to what the labor rates were. And I understand you probably don't have that invoice yet, but
No, we don't have it. They do every 3 months, I believe, so we haven't done anything.
and maybe you're meeting with them
Friday.
Friday.
They would like to put this one direction or another on Friday morning.
Well, I'm going to be very clear that we raised the capital funds for the vehicle. So I'm considering that we buy what we want.
You think?
Right. And we'll go from there.
So, if that's something
It
that we
says
say
right
that's
here,
what we
no
want,
go.
and they don't want it, then is it a done deal?
It says no go right here.
I've gone back and forth. I think they're in the comments on the side.
I will discuss with the sheriff again, but this is a non-starter on our end. What's the sheriff going to say? I mean, he's the one that's saying it's a non-starter. Who's this person here? This is the county manager?
Yes.
So, it's, internally they're saying we're going to stand our ground and no, we're not going to do a pickup truck. Well, whatever.
I have asked them what the actual maintenance costs they're referring to, because we're paying for them all now.
Who cares?
And then I said we were firm on our desire for the pickup truck. And he said this was, I guess you see the comments too.
I mean, I understand they're going to need a quad cab because if they arrest somebody, they're going to put them in their vehicle.
But that's all they have for that in the spec model for the interceptor, what do you want to call it? The law enforcement package. That's what it is.
Yeah.
It's
Oh, for the truck?
yeah,
Yeah.
because they have another county
And
sheriff's
it's a
office.
Ford. We're going to get a Ford, which is their brand.
Well, they have them in Chevy too. But yes,
And these are all maintained at Baker Automotive, aren't they?
right now because I think
Because I
the
always see
gentleman's
them.
out sick or something.
Oh, is that what's
He's
going
out
on?
right now. Yeah. But we do pay maintenance costs because we have a bill for $1,800 coming for Levi's Cruiser now.
I can't say that our two sheriffs aren't doing their job. They're being pulled out of the town of Waterboro way too often for outside calls.
That could be it.
And,
Yes.
and we might only be getting 30 hours of patrol out of the 40 that we're paying for.
That could very well be it.
You
But
know,
that's an administrative
it's-
issue from the sheriff.
You look at that paperwork and try to come up with 40 hours, and it's awful hard. But I see some complaints that was made the other day, and I mean, it took them 25 or 30 minutes to interview somebody, and it was, there's a word for it, but I can't say it on TV yet.
It's hard when you look at it.
It was not right, that type of instances, but they have to go on every call, so.
It's hard when you look at it, even the proactive stuff, building checks, 1. But 12 self-initiated.
So I'd like to give the benefit of the doubt to the deputies, because I know them, I see them at the gas pumps, right? So I think the problem here is administrative, in that, they can't keep out, or there's not enough coverage. And so
Well, we want to go one more round with them on Friday. And I'm not ready to endorse signing a contract at this point, because I think there's still some unanswered questions that we have. And, certainly I can come with you Friday, if that's what you, if you want to have somebody on.
I will make a motion that we give Matt and Dennis authority to sign a contract with the sheriff's department if they see fit. I mean, we're getting to the last of the wire here, but
I think we bring it back in the 16th. If they want a signed contract, then we hash it out on the 16th.
You mean the 20th?
I mean,
20th.
if I wanted to
Well,
sign
we
a
gotta-
contract as the police chief of this town, I'd have been here tonight. For my guys. Because what happens when you cancel these contracts? Guys lose jobs. That's what happens.
realistically, they are gonna lose their job. And
I know.
they're gonna continue to work for Waterboro as long as we pay them. So, if they was fighting with the union, they could fight for a year without no contract. So, as far as a contract with us, what's it amount to?
All right.
well, my vote would be to, let's, I don't have a problem with hooking up with you Friday
morning.
Go one more time, and
So I'm going to make a motion, that way they understand what the motion is, maybe you'll support it, maybe you won't. I'm going to make a motion that we not accept this contract as written, and that the town administrator and Dennis try to work these things out with them and come back to us on the 16th, but then the motion is that we not accept this contract as written.
I'll second that.
anything else? All those in favor?
Can you, any point for the negotiated items? You're talking about the pickup truck and anything else specific?
The pickup truck, and they've got to find a way to have greater transparency how much time they're spending in this town.
Yeah, ultimately, we're gonna bring back,
It'll come back.
hopefully.
I guess the townspeople are looking for 80 hours, but if they're only working 60, and I'm just putting a figure out there,
Yeah.
we're only being charged for 60, the way I read this now. And that's fine as far as I'm concerned, other than not, it's not giving the townspeople what they voted for. But I don't want to see the townspeople being charged for
No.
hours that we're not getting to.
So the motion was not to approve the contract as currently written,
Right.
okay? So all those in favor? Okay, we'll go around with them one more time, and
Good luck.
okay,
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of August 16th.
I wasn't here, so I need to abstain. So,
we can second it, right?
oh,
And then you can
sure,
abstain.
second, yeah.
All those in favor? 2-0, 1 abstention. All right.
I was for process.
Items needing signature: municipal quitclaim deeds, Eagles renewal, liquor license, municipal election warrant, and 2 orders of closing. If there's anything else that I missed, I'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor? Good night.